So you acquired AOL. You've got a pending purchase of Yahoo, which is supposed to close within the next couple months. These are huge milestones in this industry. One of the big questions on everybody's mind is, can Verizon be an alternative to Google and to Facebook and to possibly Snapchat? Can you be a giant platform in your own right?
So my friend Dan Rose and I were just in the back talking about this. But look, we think this is a huge market. And we believe there can be more than two players in this space. If you look at the strength of Verizon and AOL, it's our platforms, so the programmatic and publisher platform that has been built by Tim Mallman and the team, who I think are out in the audience here. We also have strength in mobile, clearly, and we believe we continue to make a difference in brands, and that's where we think our differentiator is. We have a lot of great brands in-house, but we can also partner to help those brands. You saw some of them on the screen, TechCrunch, Engadget, HuffPost. HuffPost was the #1 publisher on Facebook this year, or in 2016. Yep. So we believe we can build upon that. Now, we also know that we have a tremendous amount of work to do, and the question of scale becomes one that's incredibly meaningful to us, and it's the next critical step. And so that's really what led us down the path of looking at the Yahoo acquisition. I'm not going to say a whole lot about that. I know that's top of mind for everybody. We're still working through with the team. We have great aspirations to come to a conclusion, but as I've said publicly many times, I can't today with certainty be able to cover my shareholders, our investors, and so there's a lot of questions we have to have answers to, and we're trying to get to that as quickly as we can. In the meantime, Tim and the team have been working down a path of integration, and so we're hopeful that we have conclusion soon. But getting to scale is important, not only just domestically, but also global scale and global reach.
Tell me more about scale and publishers. You now have, even without Yahoo, you have some of the most potent digital media brands that have ever been created. You mentioned two. You mentioned Huffington Post, Engadget. There are a lot of others. They actually have kind of fulfilled the promise of what's possible in digital media. Do you need to own the content in that way, or do you imagine that as a platform you also have value for other independent publishers?
Yeah, no, we don't believe we need to always own content. We have made a number of content investments. It's not the traditional kind of content you think of. And maybe just step back about to talk about how Verizon thinks about content. So if you would have looked at Verizon's role in content, I would say, 2 years ago even, what we typically did is we licensed linear content for our Fios home services, so television services. And we've started to move into a space where we think owning some digital content targeted towards a younger audience is important. And you'll continue to see us do those kinds of things. We made some investments in Awesomeness TV, Complex Networks, which is just fabulous trends when you follow the audience scale that they're building. So we'll do a number of things with content. We'll own some, we'll invest in some, we'll continue to partner where it makes sense. But partnering is a big part of the vision for, if you would talk to Tim Armstrong, or even how we think about our broader business, having great open partnerships is important to us.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned awesomeness. And others. I wanted to ask you specifically about OTT, over-the-top television, because it's coming in like a freight train. What are the opportunities? You have a product, you have a service called Go90. What is that, and how do you see it evolving?
So this space is obviously extremely crowded, and so we took a look at where do we think we have a reasonable right to compete. And so our strategy was based on really 3 principles. The first was mobile first. So we know that when you look at audience, there's more and more audience, particularly younger, but also older, where their first access point is through the mobile screen, and obviously Verizon has a strong position there. So we wanted to build a product that was mobile first. The second part of that strategy was that we knew we need to have great content. Now we've learned a ton about content, and I'll talk a little bit about that, but the formation of the content was originals for mobile, which we did a lot of that through Awesomeness and now through Complex Networks. We needed to have live, and live defined was really sports, music, cultural events. And then the best of TV, and that's one that's probably been the most interesting to kind of watch over that period of time. And then the third part of the strategy, as defined by Mobile First, was we wanted a younger audience. We wanted to go after millennials and younger to really offer something to them that was not Me Too with some of the longer form OTT services that you see.